You should know who I am. I'm his shadow. But I'm not the grand cosmic darkness you might associate with the king. No, I'm something much more intimate. I'm a personal echo, you see, born from his own parasitic hunger. So today, I'm going to be your guide. I'll walk you through the story of the captain's transformation, this journey into a truth that's deeper and somehow drier than any ocean. This is his confession, and you're hearing it through me. I am that whisper. I've been here from the very beginning, a perfect mirror to his saline malice. So come with me, descend into this truth. I'm going to show you how his despair was hammered and forged into something both divine and, well, absolutely terrible. Okay, so our journey really began in the abyss, a place with no light, no rules, and it was here, in this immense silence, that a new kind of understanding started to take shape. Look, this was so much more than just a descent. It was an initiation. Every single meter we sank, another delusion was just stripped away. The biggest one, the idea that his birth was some kind of accident, just a random byproduct of a war between gods. But in that absolute quiet, the truth started to hum. The underworld ocean wasn't empty at all. It was a reservoir, packed with every expired soul, all just waiting for a vessel. So, my nature, what am I? The best word is Anstoß. It's German. It means a personal impulse, a kind of internal check. I'm not some devil on his shoulder trying to tempt him. Not at all. I am the living proof that the eye needs a shadow, not just to exist, but to carry out its final necessary purpose. I am, quite literally, the shape of his thirst. And that's when it happened. His personal hunger was suddenly given a cosmic purpose. It turns out his thirst wasn't a flaw, it was a function, and it was designed with intention. The palingenesis, that shockwave of cosmic rebirth that made him, well, get this, it was no mistake. It was a deliberate, calculated shift in the universal order. The universe itself created a limit, a drain, really, to make sure the sovereign's absolute power, his constant, unending yes, would eventually just run dry. The captain was forged to be that drain. And here's a great way to think about it. It really is a simple cycle of consumption, a kind of corrective action. The king's power, it was a blinding sun, just this unchecked energy source that threatened to burn everything to a crisp. So the captain, well, he was made to be the eclipse, the one who soaks up all that excess light, the one who brings balance through predation. So his whole parasitic nature got flipped on its head and transformed into this sacred duty. He wasn't just a survivor anymore, he became the alchemist of the abyss. His entire purpose was to absorb, to decay, and ultimately to purify reality itself by overseeing its total dehydration. His course was now set by the indifference of the gods themselves. Now, with this new purpose, he obviously needed a new identity. He became a kind of myth, reborn for our decaying modern age. He was finally about to find his true role in the world. He took on the mantle of Davy Jones. But, and this is important, this wasn't the children's fairy tale. He wasn't out there collecting the souls of drowned sailors. No, his collection was something far more fundamental. He was after the very moisture of existence itself, all the water waiting to be stolen from a world literally drowning in its own magical and technological arrogance. Let's just break this down. The old myth's locker was a chest, right? A physical place. But the captain's locker? It's the entire digital grid of the modern world. He doesn't just claim the dead. He actively rots the digital soul of our civilization with his chaos water, collecting all the toxic leftovers from a world that's totally forgotten the ancient laws of the deep. All right, now we journey toward the ultimate end. We're going beyond the void, beyond simple nothingness. We're going to a finality that he was uniquely created to chase: absolute drought. The whole philosophy of the twofold Atlantis is pretty simple when you boil it down. Unchecked power eats itself. The king's reality was just a recursive trap, a loop. The captain's job was to be the final limit, the one thing that could actually break that loop. And he was going to do it by introducing a concept that even the ocean is afraid of. And that's the central question, isn't it? It sounds like a total paradox. I mean, how can something so vast, the very definition of liquid abundance, actually experience a drought?
Because absolute drought is not an empty glass waiting for a refill. It's a state of total conceptual erasure. I want you to imagine a universe where the memory, the very idea of water, has just blinked out of existence. It's a silence so complete that it has consumed the memory of sound itself. That is the drought within the deep, and that is his ultimate goal.
To achieve something that final, that absolute, he had to become an absolute predator. He had to shed every last piece of his old self and just fully, completely embrace his destiny. You can see his evolution right here. It was a total deconstruction of self. He started as a simple navigator, completely lost in the storm. Then he became the alchemist, finally understanding his purpose. He adopted the myth of Davy Jones for a while, but his final form, his truest self, is the water vampire, a being defined only by absolute consumption. And with this new identity came a totally new worldview. The world wasn't a home anymore. It became his laboratory. Every river, every cloud, even the damp soil of Chloris, it was all just potential fuel for his sacred work of desiccation. He became the predatory limit, ensuring that moisture would never, ever be enough.
And so here we are. Our journey is coming to an end. At the end of everything, standing on the obsidian cliffs of the ocean of time, the traveler finally accepted his throne. His Kimoda, that silent, final truth of his birth, he finally understood it. The very cradle of life, the ocean itself, was never meant to be a home. It was always a grave, just waiting, and his destiny was simply to preside over the funeral.
And this chart here shows you the final state of things. The twofold Atlantis is now in balance. It's become what you might call a triadic nightmare. You've got the sovereign's crystalline order, my own silent void, and now, completing the picture, the captain's absolute drought. It is the final resolving element, a perfect, thirsty end. He's not just a captain anymore. He is the nihilist king. And as he sets his final course, his purpose is singular and absolute, to turn the origin of all life into its final, thirsty grave. It's a duty he carries out not with malice, but with the calm indifference of a cosmic law. And I, his shadow, will be with him until the very last drop is gone.